Hey guys, I've got the CMF Buds Pro 2 here, and finally we can all pretend that this is a fidget spinner. At least it has the feel and click of one now. Very unlike the afterthought fidget spinners you find on CMF Buds like the Buds 2A or the Buds 2 Plus. All that's left now is to find out if the Buds Pro 2 actually fits the bill for high end at a budget, or it's still just your regular buds polished with very refined marketing. So let's start off with the design. You can't argue that this is different. I mean, it looks and feels different. And if the goal was to convince you that this was on the more premium side of things, I'll say they got it just right. For the first time, the scroll wheel actually feels like a fidget spinner. Got tired of pretending it was anything like a fidget spinner on the Buds 2A or the Buds 2 Plus, where you find a similar scroll wheel. The case has an added touch of sophistication too, so the matte finish is mattier, and this design element here has a bit of nuttiness to it. And again, for the first time, I'm kind of digging it. The boards themselves are your typical CMF boards. They look practically identical to the CMF Buds 2A and 2 Plus, only this time it's heavier. About 0.3 grams heavier than the Buds 2 Plus actually. The design is classic, it's unique and eye-catching. Love this small round cutout here because if anything, it's functional. That's the touch panel for the touch control. And again, it just adds a bit of sophistication to the overall design language. I've got mine in dark blue. You can get these in very interesting colors, orange for instance, and that's something refreshing to see. In hand, and they feel very solid, almost solid as a rock actually. Probably the most solid looking and feeling earbuds I've tested recently. No, really, these things feel like they were chiseled out of one solid block of plastic, or maybe they were just 3D printed. Anyway, I can vouch that these will stand the test of time and your carelessness. Being heavier than the Buds 2 Plus, I was sort of concerned about the fit and how these buds will feel in air. As it turns out, it didn't make too much of a difference. These sit nicely in air even when you're up and about. Here's me using them on a walk. They're super comfortable too. If you use them for long enough, you're going to experience some air fatigue, but that's pretty much normal for an in-ear bud like the Buds Pro 2. Is it Buds Pro 2 or Buds 2 Plus? Why would you name something Buds 2 Plus, Buds 2A, then you come here and change it to Buds Pro 2? Anyways, as far as features go, on the Buds Pro 2, you get support for high-res LDAC audio. You also get support for SBC and AAC, which is not something you find on budget TWS earbuds, so good. You also get active noise cancellation, an IP55 rating for water and dust resistance, touch controls, proximity sensing, Bluetooth 5.4, fast pair technology. And that's down scroll wheel. Apparently it's functional on these buds, but more on that soon. Support for high-res LDAC audio allows these buds to stream at rates of up to 990 kilobits per second, which is neat if you've got a device that supports that. Big fan of the fast pair tech, and all CMF buds come with it as standard, so feathers to their cap. Another standard feature is the IP55 rating, which confers water resistance to an extent on these buds. They'll survive your sweaty workouts, a walk in light rain showers, or even a few minutes in your shower. Here's me spritzing them down for like 5 minutes, and I just put them straight back into my ear. They worked, no issues. Touch control is on point, very precise and sensitive when you need them to. I say need them to because they do a very good job of ignoring false triggers. You can map the designated inputs, that's single touch, double touch, triple touch, touch and hold, to your preferred actions in the app. What's left? Aha, the scroll wheel. So on the Buds Pro 2, the scroll wheel is actually not just cosplaying fidget spinner. Turns out you can use these to control the buds. Here's me changing the track with them. Now I'm increasing the volume, and you can also pause playback with the wheel. Nobody asked for this, and I don't think I would be using it as often as CMF dreamed when they put it on these buds. But it's a very clever inclusion, so thumbs up. ANC is the same 50 dB rated system you get on the Buds 2 Plus, and in practice the performance is essentially the same. So in my living room, it handled all the background noise from the TV at sub 60% volumes quite well. It worked good even at higher volumes, but some of the audio begins to leak in. Now I'm in a park and there's one or two people chattering about, not my business, can't hear them. ANC is great. Now sound quality. Like the Buds 2 Plus, these have a very balanced soundstage with full-on representation of bass, mids, and trebles. Unlike the Buds 2 Plus, however, the detail on each component of the soundstage is very impressive. Bass is deep and punchy with enough oomph to rival bass-tuned buds like the Melobus N60. Great detail on the mids means you get to experience the full extent of instrumentals on your favorite jams. Same case with trebles. These buds deliver them with such detail that vocal heavy songs sound very full, if you know what I mean. The one complaint I had, which was also a complaint I had on the Buds 2 Plus, is clarity. Somehow, and especially at high volumes, they struggle with keeping all components of the soundstage separated. Or better put, it struggles with delivering them with as much detail as you'd get in low and high range volume. So you can hear it trying to deliver those random ad-libs or guitar snares, just that they kind of get caught up or muffled, so to speak, with other components of the soundstage. This effect is best experienced with songs like Label by Paris Paloma, where there's a high mix of vocals, sub-vocals, instrumentals, and practically everything else. Classically, when that song gets to the hook somewhere towards the end, there's a very, very beautiful symphony of voices that you might miss or not experience in full if you are using the Buds Pro 2. Like I said in my Buds 2 Plus review, many buds struggle with this song segment, including my favorite top pick, the Melobus N70. But surprisingly, I've had sleeper buds like the Melobus N60 or the One More Q21 do a good job of delivering it with precise clarity. Overall, you won't really have issues with the sound quality of these buds, especially if you are a fan of pop, rock, rap, hip hop, and the likes. Still a great sounding bud, just a little bit rough on the edges. So, come out on the back with the CMF Buds 2 Pro, or is it Buds Pro 2? Whatever the name. And let's quickly do an ANC. No, not an ANC, a mic test. So, what you're hearing now is my voice straight out of the mic. Mic test 1 2 1 2. Mic test 1 2 1 2. Oh, we could just talk about that nice donkey feeding its child or infant or whatever. Can you see it? Um, what do you guys think about the sound of the mic? As far as battery life goes, these are great buds. On average, I got up to 6 hours of on time when actively using these. That's with ANC on too. With ANC off, they can stretch to say 7 hours of active listening time. On standby, you can expect to get 48 hours of on time. No wireless charging. This charge with the USB A to C cable provided in the box. Again, I never really minded not having wireless charging up until I tested the Melobus N70. Those ship with wireless charging and cost less than these buds. So CMF, I think you can do better. So to sum it up, what's good on these buds? Great battery life, awesome design and build quality, good enough sound quality, good enough ANC. What's bad? Pricing. These retail for about $65 to $75 a pop, and that might sound like a fair deal only if you're unaware of the competition. The Kiswah Melobus N70, for instance, costs just about $40, and that can stand toe to toe with the Buds Pro 2. It even has wireless charging, and these don't. Now, all that said, should you buy the CMF Buds Pro 2? Right now, you can get the Buds Pro 2 for about $65, so slightly cheaper than the Buds 2 Plus. And this is a better TWS earbud overall, in my opinion. If you're a fan of the Norton design language and are falling for their superb marketing campaigns, I'll get this instead of the Buds 2 Plus. If you're in the market for a great TWS board without the glitz and the glamour, or let's be frank, without the scroll wheel, I just get the Melobus N60 or the N70. Or if you're shopping for absolute value for money, there's the One More Q21 or the Melobus Pro. Those are very, very great sounding buds at practically half the price.